united by a shared vision to foster stability and progress. The BRICS nations, including China and Russia, are working together to shape the course of international affairs.
Our cooperation with Chinese partners on various international platforms, including the G20 and others, has been highly effective.
With the backdrop of deepening trade cooperation and a greater focus on local currency settlements, countries like China and Russia have made significant strides in the finance and trade fields, fostering stability and reliability in bilateral economic cooperation.
I think there's a good chance through regional agreements, China with BRICS countries and with the Belt and Road countries.
Join us this week as we delve into China's promising market trends and explore the potential for economic growth and cooperation between China and Russia. Only on BizTalk, only on CGTN. In 2024, Russia assumed the presidency of the developing nations bloc BRICS. Economic and financial cooperation are now among the key areas of cooperation among member countries. Efforts are being made to enhance the role of BRICS countries in international monetary and financial systems, develop interbank and financial cooperation, and expand the use of each other's currencies in bilateral trade. According to official Russian statistics, over the past 2 years, the share of the Chinese renminbi used in export transactions in Russia has increased from 0.4% to 34.5%. We spoke with Russian Finance Minister Anton to get his perspectives on taking proactive measures for the future of Chinese-Russian relations and creating a favorable policy environment for bilateral trade and investment. Mr. Minister, thank you for accepting our interview. The first question is, with the continuous expansion of local currency settlements, 95% of bilateral trade between Russia and China is now settled in rubles and renminbi. What is your assessment of the role of this cooperative model in enhancing the stability and the reliability of economic cooperation?
Действительно, между нашими странами растет товарооборот.
Indeed, trade between our two countries has continuously increased. Bilateral trade surpassed $200 billion in November, meaning we completed the task assigned to us by the heads of state ahead of schedule. Amidst this rapid growth, many products from China have entered the Russian market. The primary responsibility of Russia's finance ministry is to protect this trade and to facilitate the settlement of payments. We have also observed that the proportion of trade settled in local currencies now exceeds 90%. Our two countries are extensively using their respective national financial messaging systems, and our banks are also developing a mechanism for agent accounts, ensuring smooth payment for these transactions.
Взаимной торговли на сегодня нет.
What proactive measures are China and Russia planning to take in the future to provide a favorable policy environment for bilateral trade and investment?
Это вопросы, те меры, которые уже приняты.
In addition to what was mentioned earlier, I would like to emphasize the efforts we have made and the positive results that have been achieved through the collaborative work of both parties. Our cooperation with Chinese partners on various international platforms, including the G20 and others, has been highly effective. Apart from the increase in trade volume, we have engaged in extensive cooperation in the financial sector, addressing practical and pressing issues. We have held productive dialogues with the Chinese Ministry of Finance, aiming to further explore these matters. Therefore, we attach great importance to this aspect of our work. We have also discussed how to further develop the financial systems between our two countries, including cooperation within international organizations and frameworks. This involves the development of jointly proposed development banks, the expansion of insurance and reinsurance operations within the BRICS framework, and the enhancement of settlement operations among our BRICS countries, among other issues.
Целый ряд других тем, которые необходимы для упрощения работы наших предпринимателей и людей между нашими странами.
In which areas do the two countries have untapped potential for cooperation in the future?
Мы сейчас видим, что вокруг нашей страны введено.
Currently, Russia faces various restrictions, including those on some technologies and equipment that play a crucial role in economic development. Our primary task now is to ensure the advancement of our technology. Therefore, we have formulated a fiscal budget for the next 3 years, which includes a series of measures to aid the development of these technological fields. The ability to manufacture related equipment encompasses areas such as mechanical engineering, including the production of drones and aircraft, the automotive manufacturing industry, as well as electronic devices and other critical sectors. In these fields, we currently rely to a large extent on various components and technological aspects from Western countries. However, due to our collaboration with China, we have made some progress. In this new phase, our goal is to develop our own capabilities in producing these products, enhance our capacity, and ensure the advancement of our technology.
И обеспечить таким образом технологическую независимость.
The Russian Ministry of Finance forecast suggests that economic and social development will be positive, with the GDP growth expected to range between 2.2% and 2.3%. Does this indicate that the Russian economy has undergone structural transformation and maintained stability?
Безусловно, меры реагирования на те вызовы, с которыми мы столкнулись.
Indeed, the measures we have taken to address these new circumstances have yielded positive results. Firstly, we focused on ensuring the well-being of the people, supporting retirees and families with children. Additionally, this includes supporting our businesses as they are facing challenges to their traditional supply chains. Given the impact of the international trade environment, we are providing the necessary assistance to our businesses in this regard. As a result of these measures, Russia's economic growth reached 3.5% in 2023. Our plans for the coming years aim to ensure economic growth of around 2%. The government of the Russian Federation is very willing to increase the issuance of bonds, enhance the production capacity of businesses, create more job opportunities, raise wages, and improve living standards, as the improvement of living standards also facilitates further financing.
What specific measures does Russia's budget policy include to support key indicators for national economic growth in the future?
Одной из задач бюджетной политики на предстоящие 3 года
In recent years, one of our primary tasks has been to ensure our financial independence. Russian enterprises, banks, and financial institutions are affected by Western policies. Therefore, we must ensure that our previously established plans are implemented. To achieve this, we must maintain a balanced fiscal policy. What does a balanced fiscal policy entail? It means that regardless of external factors and pressures, we must fulfill these tasks. Therefore, Russia's fiscal plan now aims to ensure the lowest fiscal deficit, meaning that in the future, the deficit should be kept below 1%. Furthermore, in the future, we aim to ensure that government revenue roughly equals government spending, except for interest-related income, which should be managed to cover expenses. This will help maintain fiscal balance and ensure the fulfillment of government department responsibilities.
Выполнять все свои планы и обязательства.
Looking ahead to 2024, what's the outlook for the global economy and also the Russian economy, and what are the key areas of focus likely to be?
Экономика сейчас мировая не в лучшей форме.
We have already mentioned that the current global economy is not showing the most optimistic trend. We are witnessing a trend towards deglobalization and various divisions in the financial and economic spheres. Some countries have imposed sanctions on Russia, but these sanctions are also affecting their own development. We have always supported economic globalization and have seen that under the backdrop of globalization, the global international economy has continued to maintain growing markets. However, if these current phenomena persist, we may predict that the economic performance of Western countries in 2023 will be lower than that of 2022. Indicating that they have entered a very slow stage of development. If these restrictive policies continue, it will undoubtedly lead us into a dead end. Therefore, it is rational policies that will lead us to future development. This means that we must prioritize cooperation, as only through cooperation can we ensure the development of all countries.
Наших людей и на благо развития нашей страны.
You're watching breaking news on CGTN.
You're watching CGTN with the latest market-moving headlines from around the world.
Welcome to the world today on CGTN.
As a significant representative force of the global south, the BRICS countries are gradually increasing their influence on the global economic governance. China is not only the largest economy among the BRICS countries, but it is also playing a more important role in enhancing the level of cross-border trade and investment facilitation. According to data from the People's Bank of China, cross-border RMB payments reached 48 trillion yuan in the first 11 months of 2023, a 24% year-on-year increase. Of that, the proportion of RMB settlement in goods trade reached 25%, the highest level in recent years. We spoke with Professor Daokui, director of the Academic Center for Chinese Economic Practice and Thinking at Tsinghua University, to get his perspectives on how the Chinese economy is moving towards higher quality and more open development, supporting long-term global economic growth.
Welcome to the show, Professor Li.
Thank you very much for having me.
As China's economy grows bigger, last year we have seen a lot of significant events like the enlargement of the BRICS and the Belt and Road Forum, and we're seeing Chinese yuan is also playing a bigger role in global trade. How do you anticipate China's economic policies and international trade relations to adapt and shape the global economic order in the year beyond?
China will continue to be a progressive force in stabilizing global trade, and also progressive force in encouraging other countries to open up. Because China, from its own experience of past 45 years of reform and opening up, China knows very well that through opening up, the whole world will benefit. Not only the Chinese economy, the rest of the world will also benefit. China China is good, like a good student. Now it's turning to become a good teacher, telling everybody, let's stay open economically. Everyone will be a beneficiary. Okay, so this is a one line of one reason for China being progressive in opening up. The Chinese economy is confident in that the Chinese economy will not lose in international competition. Some sectors for sure will move out of Chinese economy. However, moving out these sectors moving out leaves room for other sectors to emerge. So overall, Chinese economy and the Chinese policymakers overall are rather confident, believing in that opening up of international trade will essentially and eventually benefit the Chinese economy itself.
Because I know all economists are against the trade barriers. What is your take on this trend, and what can China do?
Well, the trend towards more trade restrictions may continue in the world. However, I think there's a good chance that through regional agreements like China with Europe, China with ASEAN countries, China with BRICS countries, and with the Belt and Road countries, through all this I call the spaghetti type of negotiations, right? China will become a force to stop the intensifying process of international trade restrictions.
And as you mentioned earlier, China is moving up the value chain. As China continues to prioritize technological innovation, what are the key areas do you see the most potential for growth and investment?
Well, in my mind, there are two areas for China to pin hope on for technological progress. Number one is energy, which is not super obvious, but it is key. It is key. The whole world is in a process of energy transition. The whole world, not China, not only China. That is, the whole world is now moving towards green energy. And by green energy, I mean solar panels and windmills. And the key to the transition from dirty energy to green energy or black energy to green energy is storage, energy storage, the storing of this intermittent energy, right? And China is now at the front, international frontier is a frontier country in designing, in implementing these technologies, the green technology and their storage. So this is one area China will make a head start. The other area is what we call AI and application of AI and also communications technology. And this, there are many examples in this regard. With AI, the delivery job of our express packages will be changed. Today in China, you see many young people busy riding their electrical bikes, delivering packages. In 5 years, I believe that many of the electrical bikes will be replaced by auto tricycles, electrical tricycles with 3 wheels without any human pilot. And these tricycles will deliver packages to our buildings, to our to stores, right? So that will be a huge labor saving technology. How you may ask, what will happen to our expressmen, the young people who do express work? Okay, they will find new jobs in other areas. They are plentiful. I think that our human society usually are very good in finding ways to employ people. So I'm not pessimistic. I believe there will be new jobs created for this express for these young people, right? Delivering packages. So that's the second area of technological progress: AI and the communication technology and the auto driving, so on and so forth.
Right. China has a massive market, and there is always a possibility to make a fortune. And last year, emerging markets are facing some significant pressure of capital outflow, and that includes China. In your opinion, what is the risk and reward profile for foreign investors who try to engage with China market this year?
Well, it is increasingly clear that the Chinese market proper or itself is already huge enough for international investors to stay in China. So in other words, they often call it a strategy called in China for China. The leading example, of course, is the automobile market, right? All the major automobile makers cannot afford to leave Chinese market. So they will stay in the Chinese market. They will find a way to increase their R&D, research and development activities, and tapping the huge pool of engineering talents in China. So that's the area of opportunity for multinationals. Stay in China, tapping the engineering and R&D capacity, and then use China as a basis for their global research and also for their enhancing their technology. So that's new opportunities for multinationals.
And we heard a lot about de-risking in the past year. How is China's evolving relationship with other major economies such as the U.S. and European Union influencing the investment outlook for multinational corporations and foreign investors?
Chinese leaders have been very busy talking to U.S. and European leaders, trying to create initially an agreement and later on some concrete policies to stabilize their concerns of China being a risk factor. Okay, and also China will open up its own domestic market further for multinational companies, especially those from the U.S. and from Europe. Chinese automobile market, Chinese power plant, Chinese factories, Chinese home appliance, so on and so forth. All these sectors will be increasingly open, and in many cases will be completely open to multinationals. And in the past decades, to be frank, Chinese government was worried about multinationals being super competitive, so that domestic firms will completely lose out. But now, as I said, Chinese leaders and Chinese economy are becoming more confident. So the door of the Chinese economy will be more open, and most sectors will be completely open in 5 years. In 5 years, most sectors, maybe except for those defense sectors, will be completely open. There's no need for protection for domestic firms.
The World Bank is expecting 4.5% for 2024. What is your target for the economy if China can do the right thing?
Well, I would say most realistically, the Chinese economy will be running at a pace of 5%, 2024, 5%. Now, why is that? Well, I think it's because the Central Economic Work Conference actually laid the ground for very proactive policies in various areas, various forms, in a property market, the fiscal policy, monetary policy, industrial policy, so on and so forth. So 5% is the number I forecast for 2024.
And that gave us much needed confidence at this stage. And Professor Li, let's talk a bit about global environment, which is full of challenges this year. In context of global supply chain dynamics, how is China adapting its manufacturing and trade strategies to navigate disruptions?
Well, China has been adopting a two-fold policies, two-hands policies. The first aspect of this policy is to try to work with the US and the European governments to stabilize the potential economic conflict. In other words, try to maintain the already mature and ongoing supply chain between China and Europe and the US. So China has made a lot of efforts, and China will continue making such efforts. The second aspect of China's trade policy is to try to encourage the redeployment of China's supply chain to other countries and to hedge against the U.S. European policies. More specifically, China's industries are being gradually moving to Vietnam and to Mexico and also other Southeast Asian countries. And notice, not all production lines are moving out of China. It's only part of that. Part of Chinese supply chain is now being redeployed to Mexico and to Vietnam as a way to hedge against the U.S. Trade restrictions against Chinese products. So notice again, it's part of that. So move part of production to these countries, Mexico and Vietnam, so that the products finally can be shipped to the U.S. market without being labeled as being made in China.
Do you think there are room for more expansionary policies, and how to prevent financial risks if the government tries to do that?
In fact, I believe our government, the Chinese government, should be more proactive. In other words, the government is overly cautious, excessively cautious. Why is that? Let me say this in a very simple language. The Chinese central government is by far the richest central government in the world, having lots of financial assets. For example, the central government in China, through the Ministry of Finance, holds majority shares or significant shares of the 5 largest commercial banks, which are among the most profitable commercial banks in the world. And these commercial banks have shares listed in the stock market. And also our central government, through the Ministry of Finance, holds shares of the 3 super profitable mobile phone operators. And also the central government holds shares of PetroChina and Sinopec, these oil companies, and the Sino Construction, so on and so forth. The super profitable firms, most of them have their significant shares being held by the central government. Meanwhile, our central government, the Chinese central government, only holds in the amount of 20% of GDP as central government debt. I propose our central government spend much more money, issue much more debt, and also by issuing central government debt, the central government should take over some of the local government debt in order to rejuvenate the public finance of local governments. So my point is that my long answer boils down to one sentence. That is, our Chinese central government should be much more proactive.
Thank you so much for your time today, Professor Li. We appreciate your insights. And that's all for today's BizTalk. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, bye for now.